Got to be pleased that J.K. Rowling, she leads with her chin. She believes there's only two genders because she's sane. She leads with her chin and says, please arrest me. And Scottish police have turned around and said, no, we're not arresting you. Say what you want on the internet.
They're crazy. Scots have lost their ever-loving minds. Remember Braveheart? William Wallace? You know, you can take our lives, but you'll never take our freedom. Wait, now we've switched to, if you insult me, I could have you arrested. If you hurt my feelings, you might go to jail for 7 years on a hate crime. My feelings, sticks and stones. Wait, what? No, they do hurt. They've changed the hate laws in Scotland now to say, they've expanded them basically, and say that if you say something that's offensive or insulting about a transgender person, among others, you could go to jail for 7 years if it's considered stirring up hate. If a reasonable person could say you stirred up hate with that remark. And when specifically asked, could this include something like, quote, misgendering, which is a misnomer because it's actually correct gendering of somebody, refusing to call a man a she? She didn't rule it out. She's like, it'd be up to the police. So now people like J.K. Rowling, who do speak truth and sense on gender, and she lives in Scotland, could be arrested for a Twitter thread, for a conversation like you and I have every week. And J.K. Rowling, being a billionaire and one of the most successful people on earth, has said, bring it on. She's not in Scotland at the moment. She's traveling, but she says, if I go home and saying what's true gets me arrested, then let's go. And I don't know how that shakes out for her, because in Scotland, they don't have the First Amendment. They don't have the Bill of Rights like we have attached to our Constitution here in America, which I know would protect me. I have every belief and faith that it would protect me, but I don't know over there. And this is a place, I looked it up in Scotland, where it has the worst number of drug deaths in Europe by a lot. In some parts of Scotland, like Glasgow's East End, the male life expectancy is lower than in Mongolia.
Wow.
So I think they have bigger issues to worry about than whether somebody was, quote, offended or insulted by J.K. Rowling's or anybody else's views on gender.
I think what also pisses me off about this type of law, and in part this conversation, and I'm going a little bit deeper today, and certainly razor blades, still a highlight from last week. I'm still laughing. Now we've got the Lady of a Thousand Voices with Scotland as well. I'm liking this here. I'm liking this new dimension, the voice actor that is Megyn Kelly, coming up soon in a show, I think, with written by Adam Carolla. But
yeah,
what I hate about this is that, you know, from your high school legal studies class or whatever it was called, all the way through to you reporting at something like the Supreme Court, there is a difference in the law between whether you've done something or whether you intended to do the something. And the intention to do the something is what ends up with the longer penalties. All of this sort of feelings-related stuff is that somebody gets to punish you for what they imagine to be your motivation. And that's what always sends me a little bit nutty, going, okay, you can have a go at me about what I say, but you don't get to tell me what I meant when I said it.
And this one's judged by what the listener is feeling.
Oh.
Like, I feel insulted by what you said at the dinner table. And I feel you stirred up hate amongst the 4 people sitting here. And therefore, I'm going to call the authorities, and it will be up to some woke Scottish policeman to decide whether you remain a free person. How did the Scots vote for this? It came down, I think it was 82-32. So it wasn't close in favor of changing the law in this way. That dopey minister said it was unanimous, which it wasn't. But the point is, they have bigger fish to fry. They have a lot bigger problems over there in Scotland to worry about than this. Apparently, the original genesis of this was a fear of people saying insulting things about Muslims. Okay, because I guess that's a real problem that they need to crack down on. So you're not allowed to offer, insulting thoughts about radical Islam now? And you definitely can't offer insulting thoughts about men who want to play in women's sports, or men who are raping women in the prisons, or 280-pound men who are 6'6" who want to play on your daughter's field hockey team. Because what's important is his feeling, not the safety and well-being of your kid. And by the way, women are not considered a special protected class under the new legislation. But so women who 91% of all sexual violence is committed against women, okay? 91%. Those are the ones who are going to get harmed by the men in the women's prisons and women's locker rooms and women's bathrooms. That's why we created women's spaces to begin with, the fear of an actuality of sexual assaults by men against women. And so now we just need to shut our mouths if we're over in Scotland dealing with this, because their feelings are more important than our safety. It's insane.